Hello guys, welcome to a new video. Once we have extracted our use from any items, we tend to discard its remaining and not care too much about it. That's why our landfill sites are overflowing with wastes, and waste management has arisen as a big problem. As far as we look, we can find evidence of human habitation by searching for their garbage. Sometimes it is that very rubbish which provides the greatest insights into our history. Here are the top 10 archaeological findings from the rubbish. Number 10. Holy Skulls. The Holy Skulls are 4 human skulls found in an Incan village in the Andes. They were excavated from a pit full of food scraps and other domestic detritus. The skulls were found without their bodies and was broken into pieces. Later, when the pieces of the skulls was pieced together, it was found that holes had been cut into the top of them. The holes and other marks suggest that the bodies of the skulls were strung up on a rope. The skulls date from a period when the Inca were expanding, and came from 3 women and a child. Number 9. Collapse of Elusa. Elusa was once a flourishing city in the middle of the Negev desert in the modern-day Israel. It housed around 200,000 people growing grapes and producing valuable wines. Yet within a few generations the city collapsed and was buried under the sand, leaving no clue to what happened to Elusa. But the solution was left behind by the inhabitants. Archaeologists found it by studying the layers of garbages, and found that with a date of around 550 AD the city collapsed. The reason found was climate change along with 3 major volcanic eruptions. The researchers called it as Late Antique Little Ice Age. Can you believe that some garbages solved one of the biggest mysteries? Number 8. Mudlarking. Rivers have always served cities as an easy way of getting rid of sewage and garbage. The Thames in London is no exception. Hundreds of years ago, people with no other way of making a living searched among the garbage on the foreshore of the river for anything that had been discarded which could have any value at all. Because of the clinging London mud and their bird-like dependence, these scavengers were called mudlarks. On the banks of the Thames they found swords and other blades from the Bronze Age to Roman pottery and hypocast tile. Everything from gold coins to broken bottles was found from the garbage, and it revealed the lives of London from throughout history. Number 7. Chinese oracle bones. The earliest surviving Chinese writing was recorded by those who, over 3,000 years ago, tried to divine the future from bones and turtle shells. Those tasked with predicting the future would write the question that needed answering on the scapula bone of an ox or the underside of a turtle shell. Then a hot rod of metal was placed on the bone until it cracked. The way in which the cracks broke across the surface was interpreted to reveal the answer to the question, which helpfully was also recorded on the bone. The oracle bones were rediscovered when 1899, when the Chancellor of the Imperial Academy fell ill. He was prescribed a traditional medicine made from dragon bones. He ordered some and was startled to discover they were covered in ancient Chinese script. Soon searches were made for the source of these bones, and over 50,000 discarded bones with writing on them have since been turned up, revealing pieces of Chinese history that would otherwise have been lost. Number 6. Viking Mittens. Norse explorers were the masters of sea travel. Setting out from their homes in Scandinavia, they traveled across the known world, and even beyond it. The Norse discovered Iceland, Greenland, and even visited North America. Yet despite their successes, the settlements in Greenland and North America failed to survive. Just why has always been a puzzle, but Middens, heaps of garbage, are beginning to clear up the mystery. By examining the remains of Norse food left in the middens of farmsteads, archaeologists can tell what the settlers were eating. In the earliest levels the diet was similar to those of the Norse at home, as cattle and farming techniques they brought with them flourished in the new lands. Yet as time went on, more and more the Norse had to rely on seal and fish to survive. But the Middens tell us the story of harsh winter that reduced the food supply. So the Norses had to move and their settlement failed. What a wonder that some garbages opened as the window to the past. Number 5. Megamiddens. Shell middens are a particular type of rubbish dump primarily made from, obviously, shells. These tend to be the shells of mollusks like mussels, limpets, and whelks, but also fish bones and other marine creatures. Wherever they are found, they excite archaeologists because they can tell us a lot about how our ancestors lived by looking at what their diet consisted of. But sometimes it is their size that excites our interest. In some places the pile of shells is so large that the middens are termed megamiddens. Hundreds of meters wide and meters deep, they can be made from billions of seashells that are all that remains of our ancestors' lunches. There are those, however, who think shell middens may be more than mere trash. Number 4. Monte Testaccio. At Monte Testaccio, now in the heart of a trendy Roman suburb, you can find a hill formed from the trash created by Rome's oil trade. And archaeologists could not be more excited. Olive oil was the lifeblood of ancient Rome, used for everything from cooking, to cleaning the body, to fuel in lamps. All the olive trees in Italy could not support the desire for oil, and so vast amounts of oil had to be transported to the city. Moved in large ceramic vessels called amphorae, the oil industry produced a huge amount of waste pottery. Up to 80 million amphorae were disposed of at Monte Testaccio, enough to create a hill of 150 feet tall. By digging into the dump hill, archaeologists can create a chronology of the oil trade by examining the amphorae and tracing them to their origin, so that they can open the door to the past from some trash. Number 3. Ostrava. In many Western countries, broken pottery pieces with some scratches on them was found as a trash. On deep study, researchers identified them as ostraka. Ostracism was one of the policies that was followed by the Athenians in their democratic system. Each year the Athenians would gather and vote on whether to have an ostracism. If the vote was in favor, then another vote was held where each Athenian citizen would be allowed to vote for the person they most wanted to see thrown out of the city. Whoever received the most votes was exiled for a period of 10 years. This procedure was used as a way of ridding the city of those who were thought to be a threat to the democracy. The name ostracism comes from the ostraka, sherds of pottery, on which the names of those people wanted to ostracize were scratched. Several of these broken bits of pottery still survive and bear the names of some of the great figures from antiquity, including Themistocles, Pericles, and Aristides. Number 2. Letters from Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall in northern England was once at the extreme frontier of the Roman Empire. Historians would love to know much about Hadrian's Wall, including what exactly it was designed to do. In one way, though, it is adding a great deal to our knowledge of life in the Roman Empire. At Vindolanda, one of the forts along the wall, many letters sent and received by those who lived there have been recovered from trash heaps. Written in ink on thin strips of wood, these letters have survived because of the damp conditions in which they were thrown away. Among the letters are everything from military orders to complaints about food. One letter, an invitation to a birthday party, is the earliest surviving writing in Latin by a woman. Alongside it also provided many information such as how the Romans viewed the Britishers and so on. Number 1. Oxyrhynchus Papryi. The sands of Egypt have produced some of the most spectacular archaeological discoveries, but the most important are probably not golden masks or mummies. It's the rubbish dumps of a provincial city called Oxyrhynchus, which is the source of more ancient written material than anywhere else in the world. Discovered in 1896, one of the first documents to emerge from the dumps was one called The Sayings of Jesus, which caused a sensation when translated. It also documented private letters, contracts, business deals, horoscopes, and spells that reveal the lives of ordinary people in the area. Authors as famous as Sappho, whose work is mostly lost to us, have emerged from the dumps. This project of transcribing and translating papyri is still very much ongoing, with an estimated 500,000 fragments awaiting examination. And now this are the top 10 archaeological findings from the trash. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget the bell icon.